Week 1 of college football is back, and we are ready to break down Rooster's cocky picks for Week 1. I'm here with betting expert Rooster as we predict our Week 1 bets. Rooster, let's waste no time. Let's jump right into this, shall we? Let's start off with one of the biggest matchups on Thursday night, being Boise State versus University of South Florida. Not the most anticipated matchup, but it's turning out quite to be one of the most interesting matchups of the weekend thus far in terms of point spread. Rooster, I'll turn it over to you. Who do you have in this one for the bet?
Well, when I first saw the line of this game, I thought for sure it was no doubt take the Boise State money line at 6.5. But then I realized it opened up at 10.5 and has kept on dropping down. And now it's at 5.5 at the time of recording. So it does have me a little antsy about the way it's looking. But when I take a look at Boise State's offensive line, they're returning 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen from last season. And the offensive line is just an absolute unit, considering they were able to allow Ashton Jeanty to run for over 2,000 rushing yards. Then you also add in the fact that while Boise State did lose Ashton Jeanty to the NFL draft, they did add a very solid running back in Malik Sherrod, and they're also returning 2 of their 3 leading receivers last year when their tight end Matt Lauder and their receiver Latrell Caples. So when I take a look at that, and they also return Maddox Madsen, outside of Ashton Jeanty, they're returning 7 of their starters from last season, and that's an offense that led Boise State to the college football playoff. And then we look on the other side of the ball, and while South Florida does have a very polarizing quarterback, let's not forget that Byron Brown had a broken leg last season and had to miss the last 8 weeks of the season. So we're not sure how he's going to be looking in his first game back. By all means, he could come out and be a world beater, but I'm just not seeing it in a Boise State team that just went to the college football playoff and is returning this many quality starters coming back. Give me the Boise State spread minus 5.5 at this one. I think they get it done easily with a 6-point victory.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game without Ashton Jeanty. I'm very curious to see how Boise State does this year without him. Let's turn it over to the next game, and that's a Friday night kickoff. Rooster, we'll be on the air live streaming this game with you, me, and Jake the Weatherman. We're excited about that, so you'll have to tune in 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night. Right now, the spread currently stands Georgia Tech -4. What's your bet for this Friday night matchup?
Well, when I take a look at Colorado's side of the football, they've lost their entire offense with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter both leaving, both players getting put into the Colorado Ring of Honor, the Colorado Hall of Fame. Well, it is a highly sensitive topic in the college football circles. You have to respect what Shedeur and Travis Hunter did there at Colorado, turning a very awful program into one that has gained some publicity lately. But when I look in the Colorado quarterback room now, it's going to be Caden Salter, but it shows you the confidence that they have in these quarterbacks is not high, considering they have not announced a starting quarterback until literally 3 days before the game. And you know the saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. And then we take a look at Georgia Tech's side of the ball, and while they did lose Eric Singleton to the transfer portal to the Auburn Tigers, they still are returning Haynes King, who has a functioning shoulder now. He will be able to throw the football this year. While all he could do is run at the back half of last season, and they still about took down Georgia. God knows what he could have done if they could have threw the football that game. And then they're also returning I would argue, one of the top 10 running backs in college football in Jamal Haynes. They still have Malik Rutherford, and they also, to replace Eric Singleton, add Eric Rivers from the transfer portal from FIU. And then on the defensive side of the football, they also have 2 of their starting secondary players returning, and Amari Harvey, and also they have one of their starting safeties coming back. I believe Amari Harvey is going to be able to lock down Colorado's receiving, whoever he's matching up against, whether it be Amarion Miller, Draylon Miller. I'm pretty sure that I've got those 2 names correct. But when I take a look, I just believe that at the end of the day, Georgia Tech is a much more experienced team. They have a much better coaching staff. I'm going to get heat for that. But I believe they have a more physical, tough mindset coaching staff, and I believe Georgia Tech gets the job done in this one, -4.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been saying, well, this is Deion's best roster since he's been there will, like you said about Mississippi State, God, I hope so, because, I mean, even though they lost Travis Hunter and Shador, this is his year to prove it. This is year 3 under Deion Sanders. They got to come out swinging right away, and you got to hope that the offensive line comes out swinging as well. But Georgia Tech, definitely the favorite in this one. We'll jump into it later as we live stream on Friday night. Let's go to the next game, shall we? Syracuse plays against Tennessee in Atlanta in the Mercedes Dome. Rooster, right now, the current spread, Syracuse plus 13.5. Vegas isn't giving them much of a chance, but you might think otherwise. What's your take and what's your bet in this game?
Well, when I take a look at the Tennessee Volunteers, they had been game planning the entire offseason as Nico Yamalieva as their starting quarterback. And then we get the news right around spring ball that he wants a new contract and he wants out. And then they have to make an absolute 180 U-turn, and they have to add Joey Aguilar from App State by the way of UCLA. And then when you take a look at it, he also has an entirely new receiving core to be working with. The Tennessee Volunteers only returned 3 starters from last year's offense with Chris Brazel, Miles Kitzelman, and then Hurd on the offensive line. So that is going to be a very weakened receiving core behind a offense that no longer has their absolute beast of a running back and Dylan Sampson to be a workhorse in this backfield. So Tennessee's offense, while it may be there, it's not going to be much because they're going to have to take a while to get some chemistry flowing in the backfield back there with Aguilar to his receivers, to his running backs. And it's also going to take the offensive coordinators some time to get used to. And then you take a look at Syracuse's side of the ball. They are also returning. They are getting their quarterback coming in the transfer portal as well with Steve Angeli from Notre Dame. And Angeli did show what he could do last season in a game where he had to come in. And while Syracuse is also losing Kyle McCord, they're losing Aronde Gadsden, they're losing Jackson Meeks, and they're losing LaQuint Allen, I just believe that Syracuse and Fran Brown has a good enough coaching staff, and they are good enough at recruiting and getting the most out of their players. And I believe that Syracuse is going to be able to stay within 2 touchdowns. You mean to tell me that a Syracuse team that won 10 games last year can't even hang within 2 touchdowns on a neutral field? Give me the orange all day long in the point spread with this one.
And then, Rooster, we go to a very intriguing matchup on Saturday, Kentucky versus Toledo. Everyone expects an SEC school to just absolutely dominate against a smaller opponent in Toledo, and yet here we stand, Kentucky minus 6.5. Rooster, what's going on with this, and what's your bet?
Well, if we learned anything from last year, we can learn a lesson from Mississippi State, knowing that we cannot take any opponent lightly, when I believe it was Toledo that went in there and beat them by 17 points. But when I take a look at Kentucky this year, they bring in a new transfer portal quarterback with Zach Calzada. We all know the name. He was the quarterback at Texas A&M 2 years ago, I believe. He's transferred to Incarnate Word, and now he's officially made his arrival in Lexington. And then we also combine that with Kentucky having their offensive coordinator going to be coming into his second year here. He's had time to put in a system. He's got a good flow with his coaching staff. And then on the other hand, this is a home SEC game. Do you really mean to tell me that the Kentucky Wildcats, an SEC team, can't win at home against Toledo by 1 touchdown? Give me a break. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats minus 6.5 in this one.
Yeah, I really hope Kentucky can come out on top against Toledo, because if they don't, Mark Stoops better be looking out for his job. Let's go to the next game. Primetime matchup, Saturday night in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. The LSU Tigers come into town. And right now, LSU +4 on the spread. Rooster, what's your bet on this primetime matchup?
Well, this game right here is going to be an absolute shootout. Both defenses are not going to stand a chance against the top 2 offenses in the entire country. You have Clemson with Cade Klubnik, TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco, Antonio Williams. Klubnik, the second best quarterback in the entire country. You have LSU with Aaron Anderson, Barryon Brown, Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton. They have an absolute juggernaut of an offense themselves behind the best quarterback in the country in Garrett Nussmeier. I'm going to get some heat for that one. But when I take a look at what's been happening behind the scenes, Brian Kelly has stated that they have been treating Clemson as the main opponent the entire offseason. They've been working the entire offseason to get prepared for this Clemson game. They've had a rough start the last couple of years against USC, against Florida State. And I'm going to be honest, if they can't get the job done in one of these games to start the season, there's going to be some riots down there in Baton Rouge. And then the one key thing that I take a look at here is if LSU's offensive line, while it did lose Will Campbell this year to the NFL draft, to the New England Patriots, if LSU's offensive line is able to provide any protection whatsoever against this vaunted Clemson defense, if they let Garrett Nussmeier get any time to throw the ball, I'm taking the LSU Tigers all day long. Cade Klubnik has shown last year that in big moments, he spazzes out, freaks out, acts like he just straight up didn't hear the play call. He tries to keep his own, he tries to pull it, tries to keep it, and you see what it does to offensive coordinator. He just absolutely loses his mind on the sidelines. So what does that tell me? In big games, Cade Klubnik is just too overwhelmed. Give me the LSU Tigers. I believe that Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the country, and in this game, the best quarterback wins. Give me LSU +4 to cover the spread, and even if you're feeling a little risky, sprinkle in the money line in there. I think LSU wins this game, but I'm going to take LSU +4 to be safe.
Yeah, Rooster, that's a great pick. And me and Brad talked about this in our game day preview and prediction. I'll put the link above. But yeah, I really do think it comes down to who's the better quarterback. Both defenses are going to bring it. Defense travels. The offensive line for LSU is questionable, but I don't think it's just a nightmare type of atmosphere. I know Clemson will be roaring on Saturday night, but it's not going to be unmanageable for a quarterback and Garrett Nussmeier. So, yeah, I agree with that bet. And that brings us to our final game, Miami versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming down to Hard Rock Stadium down in beautiful Miami, Florida. We'll have a preview and prediction as well for that one with our great friend and Ashley Friedland, who covers all Miami football. Excited for that one. I'll put the link for that video above me as well. Rooster, right now the current line is Notre Dame -2.5, which is very surprising heading into this game. Miami getting a home field advantage. And also, I don't remember the last time Notre Dame has won in Miami. It's been a while. Rooster, I'll turn it over to you. What's your bet for this Sunday night matchup?
I mean, is there any better way to kick off the season than the Catholics versus the Convicts? I mean, what a thrilling game to cap off the weekend. Sunday night football. We're getting a little Sunday night football preview, getting ready for NFL action. And a lot of these players are going to be playing on Sundays in the future. But when I take a look at this game, Notre Dame is going to be traveling on the road to Miami. I believe they're 0-6 at Miami. They'll be traveling to Miami with a quarterback who has never played for them, redshirt freshman C.J. Carr, because last year Steve Angeli was the backup quarterback. He entered the transfer portal. So Notre Dame's rolling in to arguably their biggest regular season game in years with a quarterback who has never played for them. And then you also take in consideration Miami has Carson Beck now from the transfer portal. Well, many people think Carson Beck is just completely sucks. Let's not forget the fact he went 24-3 in 2 years at Georgia. That is just, I mean, any other school in the country goes 24-3 with their quarterback, and their quarterback is getting absolute praise. The only reason why Carson Beck got screwed by the fans here is because we won 2 national championships right before he took over. So the standard was just absolutely unbelievable. I believe Carson Beck, when healthy, is a top 5 quarterback in the country. And then you also have to take in the fact, if Mario Cristobal loses this game, his hot seat becomes an absolute furnace. He has to win big games. Miami has underperformed ever since he showed up. I believe Carson Beck, with his new weapons, going up against a Notre Dame team that has playing against with a quarterback that has never taken a snap for them, I just believe he's going to be overwhelmed. It's not going to create a good environment for him. The stadium's going to be rocking. That's the biggest home game in years for Miami. Give me the Miami money line plus 110. I believe they get the job done here, and give me the upset in week 1.
Yeah, Rooster. This is a big game for Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck. Primetime matchup, Sunday night. Everyone's going to be watching. NFL scouts will be there for Carson Beck because they'll have the opportunity to be there. This is it. Like, this is the moment for Miami football, and I won't get too into it because I'm going to be covering it with Ashley in our preview and prediction video. But I think that's a great pick. I won't give any other detail away from my pick for the game, but it's a great pick. College football fans, let us know down in the comments what you think about Roosters Week 1 cocky picks. We'll be live streaming on YouTube and Twitter/X on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll be discussing and analyzing and commentating on Colorado versus Georgia Tech and Auburn versus Baylor, 2 primetime matchups.
We will also be sprinkling some live bets while we watch the game. Because, while it is an unpopular opinion, you win the most when you're betting live.
We'll see you Friday night. Be sure to subscribe down below, like this video, and turn on that bell notification so when we do go live, you are made aware of it, and you can join in live with Break the Huddle After Dark. We'll see you Friday night. It's time to break the huddle.